In the cold heart of Auschwitz, a man's identity is stripped away. He is no longer Tadeusz Piotrkowski, the celebrated Warsaw boxer. He is no longer a husband or a rising star. He is prisoner 77. Shoulder to shoulder with countless other Polish souls, he stands before the Nazi machine, a system designed not just to kill, but to erase. The guards tick off names, but they are only marking numbers for a systematic slaughter. First the Jews, then the priests, then the rest. The only exit is a plume of smoke rising from the crematorium chimney. Dragged from his life, torn from his family without a final goodbye, Teddy now lies on the splintered wood of a freezing barrack. The world he knew has vanished, replaced by a hollow ache and the sound of 100 men coughing in the dark. Warmth is a forgotten luxury, found only by pressing against other starving bodies. Dawn breaks, not with light, but with the brutal call to forced labor. Under the dead-eyed watch of guards, they smash rocks in a quarry, their bodies weakening with every swing. A scrap of newspaper from a frozen corpse becomes a precious shield against the wind. Lunch is a thin, watery broth that offers no comfort. Among the broken men is a young boy, Yannick, his teenage frame no match for the hardened prisoners who steal his meager rations. The cruelty here is layered. They are forced to build their own prisons, stringing the very barbed wire that cages them. Hope is a dangerous thing. An old man whispers of escape, and for his dream, a capo, a fellow Polish prisoner turned collaborator, smashes his skull with a shovel. No German was needed. In Auschwitz, the damned are forced to torture the damned. One day, Yannick approaches Teddy, his eyes holding a glimmer of a world before this. He saw him fight once, on television. He remembers the crowd chanting his name. But Teddy waves it away. The past is a ghost here. In this pit of suffering, everyone is equal. He gives the boy a harsh lesson in survival. Fight for your food, or you will die. A summons tears Teddy from the quarry. He's to work at a German officer's villa, a lavish island of comfort in an ocean of despair. Inside, a German child runs down a grand staircase, while his mother barks orders, her voice dripping with casual power. The contrast is a physical blow. Teddy's eyes land on a bowl of glistening apples, a vision from another life. His hands move on their own. He pockets two and slips away, his heart hammering against his ribs. Back in the suffocating grime of the camp, he tosses an apple to Yannick. The boy's first bite is one of desperate, primal hunger. But then, seeing a frail old man nearby, Yannick tears off a piece to share. Teddy sighs. The boy's goodness is a liability, a candle flame in a hurricane. To protect him, Teddy gives Yannick his own apple, but their brief moment of humanity is shattered. German soldiers storm in. The theft has been discovered. They are dragged outside. 3 prisoners are shot on the spot. Cold, swift. Then it's their turn. The old man who took a piece of the apple is forced to balance the fruit on his head. A single shot rings out. Not an execution of precision, but an act of pure, bored cruelty. Now the gun turns to Teddy. He's meant to play his part in this twisted spectacle. Instead, he lifts the stolen apple to his lips and takes a defiant bite. If he is to die, it will be with the taste of freedom on his tongue. Suddenly, Yannick's voice cuts through the tension, reciting a line from a German play about a hero forced to shoot an apple from his son's head. The officer pauses, thrown by the boy's courage and unexpected knowledge. He lowers his pistol. The execution is off, but punishment is still coming. A secretary notes they are 1 body short of the day's quota. Without a second thought, the officer turns and shoots a random prisoner in the head. The ledger is now balanced. Yannick is strapped to a whipping table. Teddy is forced to count every lash that tears open the boy's back. While the whip falls, the officer casually sorts through the belongings of the murdered, a child's toy monkey passing through his indifferent hands.
That night, as Yannick shivers with pain and fever, guilt consumes Teddy. The apple was his sin, but the boy is paying the price. In the distance, another group of prisoners, women and children among them, are marched towards the showers, promised a hot meal and a wash. Heavy iron doors slam shut behind them, and instead of water, poisonous gas slowly fills the chamber. The days that follow sink into a deeper level of hell. The guards, bored, devise new games. They make starving men slap each other for a promised piece of sausage, a prize that never comes. When a capo points at Teddy, he is forced to participate. He easily dodges the desperate swings of his opponent. Annoyed, a guard steps in to throw a punch, but Teddy's instincts take over. He sidesteps, and the guard stumbles and falls. The other guards are furious, ready to beat him to death, but a capo named Walter intervenes. Intrigued by the boxer's reflexes, he offers a challenge, a real fight, for a loaf of bread. Teddy knows that striking a guard is a death sentence, but Walter insists. Suddenly, Teddy is back in the ring. Not a ring of ropes, but a circle of jeering guards on a stone slab. He hesitates, knowing the cost, but when a punch finally flies from his fist, it lands with the clean, sharp precision of a champion. The crowd of prisoners erupts. Yannick's face is alight with joy, but the mood sours instantly. The guards move in, but Walter holds them back, honoring his deal. Teddy returns to the barracks with a massive loaf of bread and shares it with everyone. He is no longer just prisoner 77. He is a symbol. But Yannick is fading. His cough is a deep, rattling sound that signals the end is near. Desperate, Teddy goes to Walter and begs for help. Medicine, anything. He'll do whatever they ask. Walter sees an opportunity, not for compassion, but for entertainment. He takes Teddy to the camp's senior officers. They see a history of titles and medals, but the man before them is a featherless rooster, a walking skeleton. They doubt he could last 5 minutes, but the soldiers are bored. A live boxing match is just the diversion they need. Teddy steps into a makeshift ring. A crowd of German soldiers cheers for his opponent, a well-fed German bruiser. The fight is savage. Teddy is battered, a cut opening over his eye. But in the second round, his old instincts roar to life. He weaves under a wild swing and unleashes a flurry of precise counterattacks, driving the German into a corner. The crowd is stunned in silence. Teddy wins. His prize is bread and a transfer to the stables, a far less brutal job than the quarry. He reminds Walter of their deal. Yannick needs medicine. Walter allows him a visit to the infirmary. There, Teddy meets Anna, a young prisoner who works as a nurse, her quiet strength a beacon in the gloom. The camp doctor, her guardian, gives Teddy the medicine, enough for Yannick and others. A flicker of hope returns. But the infirmary is a devastating sight, a final stop for the dying. The prisoner doctors there tell Teddy that if he can get more supplies, they can get Yannick transferred to a better hospital. With the boy's life on the line, Teddy knows he must keep fighting. With each victory in the ring, Teddy secures more food and medicine for the sick. He becomes an unwilling hero. His fight's a small rebellion that spreads hope through the barracks. The prisoners chant his name, Teddy, Teddy. But this hope does not go unnoticed. The camp commandant confronts him in the stables. He makes it clear Teddy will continue to win as long as it's entertaining. But when the time comes, he will be ordered to lose. Teddy stands tall, saying nothing. His resistance is in his survival. The Germans bring in a new opponent, a hulking heavyweight from another camp. The man is a mountain of muscle, but Teddy is a dancer. He lets the brute exhaust himself, then strikes with a single, perfectly timed punch that sends the giant crashing to the floor. The crowd roars. For a moment, Auschwitz feels alive. But the commandant watches, his eyes cold, his mind already plotting how to extinguish this flame. That night, tragedy strikes the commandant's own family. His son, Rudy, the same boy who secretly cheered for Teddy, collapses, burning with typhus. There is no cure. As the officer's world crumbles, he finds no new compassion. That same night, his guards drag Anna across the yard, caught smuggling food. A drunken guard threatens her, and in a flash of defiance, she snatches his pistol and shoots him dead. Her rebellion lasts only a second before other guards gun her down.
Yanek, who had begun to fall for her, watches in paralyzed horror. He runs blindly through the camp and collapses into Teddy's arms, his sobs tearing through the night. There is no time to grieve. The commandant, now having lost his son and his sense of control, finds Yanek in the infirmary. He recognizes the boy who quoted poetry and, with a chilling calmness, orders Yanek to give him an injection. The boy's hand trembles. One wrong move and the commandant will die, but the officer only mocks him, justifying his mass killings as God's will. The next morning, Teddy sees a German soldier known as the Hammer, a former boxing champion, brutally beating prisoners. Teddy has made his decision. He marches to the officials and demands a match against the Hammer. The stakes are everything. If he wins, Yanek goes free. If he refuses, Teddy will stop fighting for good, ending their entertainment. The commandant, amused, agrees. The fight is set for that evening. The ring is formed by prisoners holding ropes. Walter is the referee. The fight begins. Teddy uses his speed, but his blows bounce off the bigger man. The Hammer swings, misses Teddy, and accidentally knocks out one of the prisoners holding the ropes. The Germans laugh. Then a heavy blow lands, and Teddy drops to one knee. He rises, his face a mask of determination, and lands a flurry of punches. The bell saves the Hammer from further humiliation. The prisoners chant Teddy's name, their voices a defiant roar. But as Teddy prepares for the next round, something is wrong. His vision blurs, the world spins. He's been poisoned. He stumbles directly into a punch and crashes to the ground. The Germans cheer, but the prisoners know something is wrong. A siren blares. As guards force the inmates back, they beat Teddy, who vomits violently. The sickness, oddly, brings a moment of clarity. He struggles to his feet, ready to fight again. But the commandant has a crueler end in mind. The guards drag Yanek into the yard, beaten nearly to death, and throw him at Teddy's feet. This, the commandant declares, is his new opponent. Teddy freezes. He refuses. He will not raise a hand against the man who has become his brother. Yanek, shaking and wounded, also refuses to fight the man who has become his brother. The order is given. A collaborator standing behind them raises a pistol. A single shot ends Yanek's life. A raw, inhuman scream rips from Teddy's throat before a rifle butt smashes against his skull. He wakes up tied to a post, a wooden sign around his neck that reads "Champion." Overnight, he watches another line of people march to the gas chambers. In the morning, they cut him down. He drags his broken body to the cremation pit and sifts through the ash, a hopeless search for Yanek. His victories, his struggle, it was all pointless, a game they let him play. Then his fingers close around something hard, the small wooden angel Yanek carved for Anna, charred but intact. And in that moment, something inside him hardens. He will keep going, not for victory, but for memory, for dignity. He pushes his way through the crowd watching the Hammer beat another prisoner and demands a rematch. A visiting officer who once refereed Teddy's professional fights recognizes him and places a large bet. The commandant agrees. The fight begins. Teddy, running on nothing but will, dodges the first few punches, but then a heavy hook lands and he hits the floor. The ring explodes with shouting. At the last possible second, he rises, staggering but alive. He has nothing left to lose. The Hammer, exhausted and facing a man who seems to feel no pain, begins to falter. In frustration, he throws a wild punch. There is a sickening crack as his fingers break. Teddy sees his opening and unleashes one final clean counterattack.
the hammer falls. The prisoners roar. Prisoner 77 has become the champion of Auschwitz. The visiting officer, impressed, arranges for Teddy to be transferred. Before he leaves, the commandant gives him an unexpected gift, his dead son's scrapbook, filled with clippings about boxing, a quiet tribute from the boy who believed in him. As Teddy walks away from the camp, the other prisoners watch with respect. Tadeusz Pietrzakowski survives the war. He returns to Warsaw, but not to the ring. He opens a small gym and teaches children how to fight, how to endure, and how to stand for something. And for the rest of his life, on a table in that gym, sits a single figure, blackened by fire, carved from wood and shaped like an angel, a gift from a boy who never truly left his side.